All right, right up in you guys' face on what you need. What's my channel? If you like this video, don't forget you can like, share, subscribe, and donate if I was to need your money for him. Oh my goodness, unbelievable. I'm about to yawn again. All right, so we can talk about different topics, just various topics. We'll move around. Hot topic: Terence Crawford versus Bob Arum. Listening to Terence Crawford speaking with the guys on the zone. And I personally believe, again, that Terence Crawford, should leave Bob Arum. That's how I personally believe about it. Bob Arum has not been doing a great job promoting Terence Crawford, and he has not been doing a good job getting him meaningful fights. Crawford should leave him. The LDBC has been saying this. Crawford's now voicing their opinions. I don't know how long it'll take Crawford to snap to the truth, but like Crawford said, maybe Bob should release him. Maybe Bob should release him because honestly speaking, he's wasting time being with Top Rank. Top Rank doesn't have the fighters for Terence Crawford. They don't. Top Rank can't offer Terence Crawford nothing. He's trying to get the Pacquiao fight. I wish him the best. I wish, and God blesses him probably with it. But I think Pacquiao's going to face Errol Spence next, like Blue Blood Sports TV has been saying. The money's there on the Errol Spence side of things. Or he might face Mikey Garcia. And I don't even think Crawford's going to get that fight. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, Arum's saying that Crawford's costing them money. So why would Arum go out of his way to try and make a Pacquiao fight? And Spence is saying, and Crawford's saying that, it's up to Pacquiao. No, it might be up to Pacquiao, but Pacquiao gonna look for the most lucrative offer. Pacquiao is just going, so. And if he misses out on the Pacquiao fight, that's on him. You know what I mean? He's had a long relationship with Bob Arum, probably has done advances as well, so he probably owes Arum money. But at the end of the day, if you can get somebody to buy your contract out, Terence, get the hell out of there. Because Arum cannot offer you anything else, and he said words to that effect. So it was fair game for you to respond in public since Arum made it public. I wish Terence Crawford did nothing but the best, but at the end of the day, brother, you should have known the writing was on the wall. You shouldn't have never renewed your contract. You should have gone across to the PBC a long time ago, because that's where all the welterweights are at. You get Dennis Ugas, Danny Garcia, Sergey Lipinets, Errol Spence, Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia, all the top tier, Jaron Ennis, you know what I mean? I think Virgil Ortiz is with Golden Boy. But you ain't got, all the welterweights are across on the PBC. What is wrong with you, bro? Like, this is common sense. Like I said, I don't think that Terence Crawford has business sense. And his manager, which is Bomac, he really a trainer. He not no manager. You know what I mean? He don't know what's the best for him, Terence. And this is the point at which Floyd bought his contract out from Bob Arum, went on his own. And don't be mentioning Floyd in your mouth like that. You know what I mean? Floyd did it his way. You know what I mean? He's trying to say that Floyd pick and choose his fighters, but Floyd was in a position where he could pick and choose. You talking about Miracon over Berto? Shit, it was Keith Thurman also at that point in time. That was the last fight of his. That was the last respectable fight of his career where he was facing an actual boxer. Of course, he could pick and choose who he wanted to. He had faced Pacquiao. I know Terence is not knocking Floyd, but shit, you can't compare your career to Floyd's career right at this point in time in terms of level of opposition. You ain't faced nobody like what Floyd faced. And where are you, 32, 33? At 32, 33, Floyd was facing Marquez and he faced Shane Mosley. Let me show you Floyd's resume. And again, he did it because he left Bob Arum, and they still try to put asterisks on his resume, and that's all good. But Mayweather, at the age of 32, 33, which is basically around the age Terence Crawford is, Floyd had faced, okay, Mosley, Marquez, Hatton, Oscar, Baldomir, Judah, Gotti, Corley, Steele, fucking Jesus Chavez. These are all guys that became world champion, right? Jesus Chavez, Carlos Hernandez, Diego Corrales, and Gennaro Hernandez. Crawford ain't got, does he even have? Yeah, he probably has somebody on the level of a Jesus Chavez, maybe. You know, he got Kell Brook, and he got Victor Postol. Them is his two best names. And Gamboa. He got three good names. Terence Crawford, at this point in time, has had Kell Brook. I respect that win. I respect the Kell Brook win. I'm not even going to try and like front. That was a good win. I don't care what nobody say. Oh, Kell Brook, he lost. He's just chinny now. No, he's not chinny. Okay? All right. So anyway, he got caught with a punch that he didn't see, and he didn't recoup in time. That's it. But if you check Terence Crawford's resume, this is what he got. He got Kell Brook, Amir Khan, Jeff Horn. Some of these names are just funny. Jeff Horn, anyway. Victor Postol is a decent name. And the Postol hasn't done nothing since. You know, hasn't got a championship yet. He got solid fighter in Ricky Burns, which he went across the seas to face. He also got Ray Beltran, the African kid, Undongo. Shout out to Tommy Temper in the building. Undongo. I'm scratching my head trying to figure out somebody. That's about it. Okay. So, like, his resume don't even touch Mayweather's resume. Okay. But how did Mayweather really take off at welterweight? He had to leave Bob Arum. After the Zab Judah fight, he left Bob Arum. You know what I'm saying? He had to leave him to really have stuff going on. Shout out to Tommy Temper again in the building. You know, he had to leave Bob Arum to have something off a fight. So if you're going to talk about, we're not even going to talk about Terence Crawford, okay? We're not going to talk about, don't put him in the same Pacquiao, Mayweather. They legends, right? Terence Crawford still building his resume. You know, don't mention Mayweather with Berto. Come on, man. And on top of that, Berto did perform. He was coming off of wins, okay? Amir Khan talked his way out of the fight anyway. Amir Khan talked his way out of the fight. He could have had that fight. He talked his way out of the fight. Okay? Talking about how Mayweather ducking him, and he talked his way out of this fight. Okay? Anyway, we're going to talk about a different topic. Let's see what Tommy Temper's saying in the building. You got the COVID? No. I don't got no COVID. That's a reflux problem. I got reflux problem. It chokes me. Whenever you hear me cough, it's because I'm choked. Yeah. That's because I'm constipated on the other end of my body as well. That's my fault. I know I had bad practices, bad habits, and that's why it's happening. Yeah, straight up. Shout out to Tommy Temper in the building. It's good to see you, Tommy. Looking for more content from you. If you want to do some more streams, we can do that too. But yeah, back to what I was saying about, yeah, Kell Brook was a good win, but Sicilian Hust. You're silly, man. I don't even know what Sicilian Hust is. What is Sicilian Hust? Yeah, so Kell Brook he's solid. Like I said, the only difference was he's not ranked as high. I got something coming. All right, cool. You know, Kell Brook's a very good fighter, but it's just that, you know, he still can't be ranked with those other top fighters. It's natural fiber. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. I think that Terence Crawford's on his way to getting the top tier welterweights. But I think if he can accelerate the process where he's free of Bob Arum's contracts, that would be good. Because Bob Arum has a horrible reputation with fighters who want to leave him. Like he never lets guys leave on good terms, except for I think it was Oscar De La Hoya. Then he started bad talking Oscar. As soon as you leave Bob Arum, he has a campaign to just hurt your name. You know, even with Pacquiao, he did that. So that's why Terence didn't want to leave Bob Arum, because he would take that whole engine. And Terence don't know where he's going. You know, Bob Arum would try and muddy the waters, dirty his name. That's what Bob Arum did with all the fighters that left. Mikey Garcia, you know, Miguel Cotto. We just saw all of a sudden we getting bad press, bad media for Miguel Cotto. Fucking Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? Oscar De La Hoya. Anybody who left Bob Arum, he take his engine and he starts digging at it. All right, he immediately become public enemy number one. So I understand Terence Crawford's hesitation to leave Bob Arum. I wish he'd never signed with Top Rank, but it is what it is. Yeah, back to what I was saying. Now, Terence Crawford, he needs to leave Bob Arum. That's where his life will actually begin. Manny Pacquiao started really making the dough and the money when he left Bob Arum. Of course, he had MP Promotions, Manny Pacquiao Promotions, but nonetheless. You know, Bob Arum got all those other guys. He got Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. He got Vasily Lomachenko still. You know, who they was pushing real hard. These Eastern European guys, they be pushing them real hard. You know, we saw what they did with Triple G. We saw what they did with Sergey Kovalov, and we saw what they did with Lomachenko. To this day, I still hear certain people like Kevin Kelly talking about how the future of boxing is with the Eastern Europeans, you know, the black boxers, the Mexican boxers, their time is over. And I'm looking at them like, no, that's not true at all. It's just that it's the new flavor of the month. And do I like Eastern European fighters? Hell yeah. I like European fighters, period. You know, especially the guys like Tyson Fury and Bitterbiev and Bivol and all them guys. I like them. Even Lomachenko, I like what he do. But don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. They're not the future alone, and they ain't gonna replace the other guys out there. I heard who was it? Kell Brook himself was speaking about the good work that you can get in the United States of America and how you got that experience over here because you got so many different styles and so many different people from all over the world who fight here. And the point behind it is, for those people who don't understand, shit, American boxing in Nevada, state of Nevada boxing is on a high level. You know what I mean? The fact that Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko, I mean beat him, like outboxed him, right? And Teofimo Lopez is not the best lightweight out there. A lot of people don't realize that. And in fact, his defense has holes in it. He can get hit. It's been that way for a while. But he's improving his game. He's working on his craft. And kudos to him. But, like, you know, once again, he's a top-ranked fighter. So they praise him up. You know, when you look at a guy like Tank. Tank is very skilled. Okay, he wasn't very disciplined. But he's a very skilled fighter. Okay, especially with his weight, that is. Very skilled fighter. And what did they do with Tank? They start talking down Tank. Oh, he faced Leo Santa Cruz, a smaller guy than him. Yeah, but he went down in weight to face Leo Santa Cruz. That's what you forget. Teofimo Lopez faced Lomachenko, who was a smaller guy than him. Okay, so it's the same thing, except Tank went down in weight, which we didn't expect him to make the weight to start with. We didn't know if he was going to be drained. We didn't know what he would look like. And he went down in weight and he faced Leo Santa Cruz. Okay? And just like how Terence Crawford beat Kell Brook, Tank beat Leo Santa Cruz. If y'all thinking about it, it's the same sort of fight. Leo was very competitive with him for 6 rounds. And in the 6th round when Leo was fighting back, of course, Tank was starting to impose his size and strength. His strength, not his size, but his strength on Leo, because he's not bigger than Leo, physically speaking. He started imposing his strength on Leo. He was able to walk down Leo, and Leo was starting to throw counters and stuff and starting to really attack him. But he was breaking down Leo to the body, and that's when Leo, through those successive right hands, got caught, right? With Kell Brook versus Terence Crawford, it's not exactly the same because Terence Crawford was trying to counter Kell Brook and set him up, find his time and set him up, but Kell Brook was actually winning more rounds. Actually, he won all 3 rounds. He was into the 4th round. You could see Terence was adjusting to him with distance and changing his stance and setting him up for the right hook. and Terence hit him with a quick check hook, and you could see that Terence was just looking to see how Kell Brook would react to that. And when he saw him react to it, he went after him, right? He didn't allow Kell to like recoup or anything. And Kell probably could have recouped. I think he could have recouped. I think he was stunned. I think he was dizzy, but I don't think he was chinny. I think it's just a punch. When you don't see a punch, that's what's going to happen to you. And unlike Tony Weeks, usually he give you a chance, but in this case, Tony Weeks was like, "Show me something, Kell." And Kell didn't really show him much. He was just on the defensive. Notice Terence Crawford didn't knock down Kell or anything like that, right? But Kell couldn't recoup in time, and Tony Weeks called off the fight. You know what I mean? And that's just what happened. That's just what it is. So it is what it is. I mean, if it was me, if I was the ref, I'd give Kell a little time to show me something, or I'll let Terence Crawford knock him down. I don't want him seriously hurt, but still, nonetheless, I want to see. But the refereeing today, they kind of prematurely stop fights. And Kell knew about this. In Europe, that's the same thing. So that was kind of expected. He was supposed to do something. He couldn't do anything. So, I mean, kudos to Kell Brook. I mean, I think Kell's going to do even better the next time we see him. And we will see him again. We will see him again, I believe. Maybe against Amir Khan or something like that. But I think we'll see him again, and we'll see. Now he got out of there. He got taken out of there in a faster way than Amir Khan. Amir Khan actually didn't get taken out of there, but nonetheless, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Kell Brook is a tremendous fighter, and Terence Crawford is right. He would give any one of the top tier welterweights problems. I just think that the top tier welterweights got more experience at the top level. Kell just stepped back up to the top level against Terence Crawford. And I think because of that, they would know how to handle that situation a lot differently. Like, I definitely don't see Terence Crawford knocking out Danny Garcia or even Keith Thurman. I don't see him knocking out none of them guys. Errol Spence, I don't see him stopping Errol Spence. I don't see him stopping or Dennis Ugas. The Dennis Ugas is slow as fuck, but I don't see him stopping the Dennis Ugas. I don't see him stopping Manny Pacquiao just like that. No, not like that. But who knows? Maybe he's capable of doing that, but that's where the hype comes in, because he faced Kell Brook. But what I'll say is that Crawford, man, he need to ditch Bob Arum. Everybody been telling him it. I don't know why he doesn't listen. Maybe he can't. Maybe he's held down by some sort of I don't know what it is. But or he weighed his options and realized, hey man, I won't be the A side no more. If I go across the PBC, Errol Spence definitely will be the A side then. Because he has a contract with ESPN Plus, and he's talking about he don't want no 50-50, he don't want no 60-40. So he's trying to negotiate with Errol Spence. And Errol Spence got all the cards. He got all the chips. He got all the opponents. He got everything working for him. All he got to do is win. So Errol Spence definitely going to be the A side. As it stands, Errol Spence is the A side, not Terence Crawford. I don't care what Terence Crawford says. And he hasn't sold like Errol Spence sells. So Errol Spence is the cash cow. He's the A side. And if he gets Manny Pacquiao, he's definitely the A side. Which is why I think Terence Crawford is saying, well, man, I don't know about no Errol Spence fight. I don't need no Errol Spence. Well, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do, Ninja. But Errol Spence don't need you. Errol Spence don't need to face you. It's actually the other way around, because Errol Spence making money. He got opponents. His future's fine. He don't need Terence Crawford. You could Terence Crawford. See, the problem with Terence Crawford is for his legacy's sake, and there is a fact about it. Yeah, okay, you was the undisputed 140 champion. That can't be taken from you. That's a tremendous achievement. As a lot of people out there saying, Terence Crawford's trying to validate what he's saying, but you got uphill battle, Terence. And the thing about it is, here's the problem. Terence got so much competition, as they say, on the other side of the fence for him to face. Like, it's a gold mine across, if he jumps across to the PBC. It's a gold mine. It's like everybody's there. And some of the guys want to face him. They want to face him. So it's like, Bob Arum is just fucking up everything for Terence Crawford. Bob Arum needs to get out the way. Once again, Bob Arum. You thought of Timothy Bradley. All the talent was across on the other side. Well, Pacquiao was over there, and Marquez, but all the talent was on the other side of the fence. Okay. Oh, Timothy Bradley didn't face none of them guys. He had Pacquiao to save him, so he had his trilogies or whatever. Bob Arum be running. Why do you think Bob Arum had trilogy so much? Why do you think he run it back so much? Because he didn't have the fighters. Okay? And he always used to punk Floyd Mayweather. Otherwise, this shit could have gone down a long time ago. He used to punk Floyd Mayweather. Okay? And he's punking Floyd Mayweather. And at the same time, motherfucker didn't have the fighters. You know what I mean? With Pacquiao. Now Pacquiao fighting the fighters that were on Mayweather's side of the fence. Al Heyman. Now, I'm not saying Al Heyman is the dude. Terence Crawford got to go the Al Heyman route in terms of there's some fighters who are signed with his own. We got one or two of them. I think Terence exhausted those. Bob Arum was talking about Jose Ramirez coming up, or the winner of Jose Ramirez, Josh Taylor, coming up and facing him. Like, this motherfucker got time for that. Terence Crawford ain't got time for that. He got to start finding something else. And Al Heyman is like the land of milk and honey. PBC is like the land of milk and honey. All the fighters are there. The top tier fighters are there. Terence Crawford has still not faced a top 5 fighter in the welterweight division. And he's been in the welterweight division since 2017 or 2016, something like that. He's been a welterweight for a long time now. And he still hasn't faced a top 10 fighter. He's got to make a move to make it happen. That's the problem. And he does not want to accept that. He wants to go with all kinds of other options except for that, because he's comfortable. If he wasn't comfortable, he wouldn't be talking like that. You know what I mean? And he's not worried for money. He's getting paid, so he's not really pressing it. Now, with respect to some other news out there. So we heard Adrian Broner going to be trained by Roy Jones Jr. That sounds good. I mean, it's a nice publicity stunt, and Roy Jones Jr. is a good trainer, so that would be cool for Adrian Broner to get a taste of Roy Jones Jr. Maybe that'll help him let his hands fly a little bit more. Roy, of course, I think it's coming up right now. I think Roy's going to be facing Mike Tyson very soon, so we'll see how he fares against Mike Tyson. Over this weekend, I think Errol Spence is facing Danny Garcia, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that other big fight that's coming up over this weekend. So we're looking forward to those big fights. But I mean, that's cool that Roy will be training Adrian. I ain't got nothing against that. Adrian should be exploring different trainers, different fighters, and that kind of thing. Adrian's strapped for cash, so hopefully he gets some cash from his next fight, which may be with not too big a fighter, but it would have been nice if he was going to face like Ruggaru, you know what I'm saying? If he'd face him, but he looks like he's going to be facing I forgot what the kid's name, Ivan Redcash. He might be facing him. It looks like that. Not a very exciting fight to think about, because Ivan Redcash is the name because he beat, I think, Devin Alexander. Was it him? I think it was him. And he also faced Danny Garcia. I don't know, man. Sparred Tank. Adrian Broner facing Ivan Redcash is not exciting at all. But hey, whatever. Showcase fight, whatever. Tune-up fight, whatever. In other news, we've heard about Mayweather and Logan Paul going at it. Again, I mean, probably exhibition fight. Yeah, wherever, man. Mayweather's a superior boxer. Logan Paul can't fuck with Mayweather. I know that Logan Paul's like a cruiserweight or something. It's like 180 something, 190 something pounds, significantly bigger, significantly longer. But you're dealing with a guy in Mayweather who's he's a pro boxer at the highest level he's been, and he's just gonna walk down Logan Paul and get him out of there. He's gonna He's going to accumulate punishment on Logan Paul. He's going to beat him up and probably beat him out of boxing. He won't even want to box anymore after that. That's how Mayweather is, because Mayweather is not going to take you out in the first, second, or third round. He could do that, but he's wicked like Muhammad Ali. He'll beat you. He'll beat you up. You know, first he's all cautious and everything, and then all of a sudden he's walking you down. And I think he'd walk down Logan Paul. He'd assess Logan Paul and his jab and his right hand, because Logan Paul has a good jab, a good right hand, but that's about it. And he's just going to walk down Logan Paul. He's going to walk him down and take him out. And this is a guy who's really a welterweight, taking down a guy who's a cruiserweight. This is Mayweather spars those guys as a better guys than Logan Paul. So I don't even know why Logan Paul is even. He probably just doing it for the money, but I mean, he don't belong in the ring with Mayweather. Okay, Mayweather's going to Japan. I hope he's facing the super featherweight dude from Japan. That would be a much more competitive fight than a Logan Paul fight, to be honest with you. Because that guy was a world champion. He's still boxing. He's still active. I would look forward to that fight as an exhibition fight. Logan Paul fight is just not that. That ain't no fight. That's not a fight. Who's Logan Paul? A YouTuber? Come on, man. And it takes years to perfect the sport of boxing. Mayweather versus Nate Paul. Not Nate Paul. What's his name? Yeah, Nate Paul. I think it is. Nate Paul? Jake Paul. Again, that's just a one-sided fight. I don't care what. Jake Paul could be, you know, predisposed to being a pretty good fighter, you know, and decent. It's just not the same, bro. It's like it takes you years, and you're talking about a guy that's been the pinnacle peak. You know, you're nobody. Like Jake Paul, you're nobody. You went to the ring with Floyd. You went to the ring with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia whoops your ass. You're just nobody. You're not on the level of these guys like Jake Paul, Jake Paul or Logan Paul. Ryan Garcia would fuck them up. You know, it fuck them up bad. You know. So, oh man, now I hurt my throat. Anyway, so you know, this is things people just don't understand. Like, there's a difference between being a elite pro boxer or a pro boxer at the top of their game and somebody just entered pro boxing or entered boxing. I don't care how much you train, you'll never be on that level. Just never. Like I'm a realistic person, and even though I'm training and I'm doing all this stuff with boxing, I'll never be on the level of a Floyd. That's wishful thinking. You know, that's just not. Like, I just want to go and get a couple fights in. You know, a couple pro fights in at the lower level of pros. I'm not looking to try and get up to the elite level or even become a world champion. Fuck that. I just want it for the experience. You know what I mean? You know. So, if, you know, there's levels to the sport of boxing. Logan Paul trying to drum up sport. Like, fuck. What do you think? So what's Logan Paul going to go in there and do? Yeah, he got some good. Logan Paul can't do shit in there. He's not gonna do shit in there. I don't care. You from Cleveland, Ohio, and all that, but motherfucker, you ain't gonna do shit in there. You're not gonna do shit to Mayweather. In fact, he might knock your ass out. All right, and we don't even know how many rounds they're gonna go. If they're going a full exhibition, you know, maybe 4 rounds exhibition, and I guarantee you, the amount of punishment that Logan or Jake Paul would take against a Mayweather, just going fucking 3 or 4 rounds, you know, because you don't understand. Mayweather, they say he don't punch, but he punches when it comes to guys like them. Their bodies don't take that kind of, they've never taken that kind of punishment. I don't care who they've sparred. They've never taken that kind of punishment. And no matter how much they try to put their bodies through it, it's different. Like, it's different. You know, it's not you scrapping out with a guy who's sloppy-ish, like, you know, JJ sloppy. You know, JJ's not a refined boxer, right? So Jake Paul will look great against JJ. But with a guy who his whole career has been exact on things, he could afford not to even fucking train and still stop these guys. It's just levels to the sport of boxing. It's what it is. And what's Mayweather? He's what, 32, 33? Almost 34 years of age, right? Yeah, okay. So it looks like he's old, but trust me, man, he would knock them down. He would beat the shit out of both of them. And they're younger and everything, but he would beat them up. Just that's all he does. He's trained. You know, if you hit Mayweather, you'll realize how solid he is. Like his whole body is solid. His father, you hit his father. His father's very solid. Like a lot of people don't understand this shit. You know, I'm trying to explain it to them. These guys feel they can knock out Mayweather. Nobody ever knocked out Mayweather. Why? You know, who was it that we were talking to? You could hit Mayweather and hurt yourself. You could hit Pacquiao and hurt yourself. Them guys built solid. Like their bodies are just solid. Like my sensei was, you know, I had a sensei who you hit him and you hurt yourself hitting him. Like people don't understand these things. Like these guys, they look a certain way, but they hard underneath. Their muscles and everything's just so hard. Like y'all don't understand that. Like a warrior is built hard, tough, really heavily built. So when Floyd punches you, if it's another boxer, elite boxer, they could take the punch. But a fighter like Logan Paul or like Jake Paul, who's not been at the elite level for very long, they're not going to take, their body's not going to receive that punch, and they're not going to react to that punch the way how an elite fighter would. No matter how they try to work their bodies into elite shape, it's not going to be the same. And you know, everybody knows Floyd is not just going to stop you with one punch. He's not going to just knock. See, it's accumulation punishment you're going to have to take. Conor McGregor, accumulation of punishment. He took punishment from round 1 to round 9 when the fight stopped somewhere in round 10. He was taking punishment. That's the worst thing you can do. Especially when people say, well, Mayweather, you know, I remember Skip Bayless always saying it. Mayweather can't punch. I know what he meant. He meant he's not a knockout artist. But he used it as to say, you know, Mayweather can't punch. He has balloons in his hands and he started jeering him. Mayweather's not a puncher like that. He's not going to get you out with one shot. That don't mean he can't hurt you, and it doesn't mean that he can't get you out of there. Okay, because he crashes you with combinations and punches. You saw what he did to Conor McGregor, right? Of course he can punch. He's not, though. He's not a one-hitter quitter. He's not a Julian Jackson. He's not a Thomas Hearns. He's not a Deontay Wilder. But who is? There are very few punches. There are few boxers who go in there and they can punch. You know, Thurman can punch, right? Errol Spence is not a guy who is a one-hitter quitter either. He'll break you down. He can hit, though. He can crack. But, you know, so don't get it twisted. You know, that leads me to another discussion I want to talk to you guys about. Because I see it coming up all the time. You know, this Sugar Ray Leonard versus Floyd Mayweather, or keep on popping up. And people always got this opinion that Sugar Ray Leonard would beat Floyd Mayweather. And I say it again, categorically. No way, no how Sugar Ray Leonard would beat Floyd Mayweather. I'm going to say it again. I'm not a fanboy. I know what I'm saying. No way, no how, in no reality would Sugar Ray Leonard beat Floyd Mayweather. Sugar Ray Leonard knows that in his heart. Okay? And Floyd Mayweather knows that. He ain't beating Floyd Mayweather. He got too many strikes against him to beat a Floyd Mayweather. And you show one little sign of weakness, and Floyd Mayweather take advantage of that. Firstly, mentally. Sugar Ray Leonard was outplayed by Duran. Duran got Sugar Ray Leonard to fight his fight. There's no way in fucking hell Sugar Ray Leonard's going to beat Floyd Mayweather if he's so mentally weak. He got that little flaw in his chink in his armor. Okay? 2. Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard could hit. He could crack. Okay? Yeah, he beat Floyd Mayweather's father. Struggled with him to get him out of there, but he beat him. But here's the problem. Cracking and beating somebody's dad doesn't mean and guarantee that you could crack them or beat them. Because Floyd Mayweather is a different person to his father. Now, I understand styles make fights. But see, Mayweather's style is not the same as his father. It is not the same as his father. What do I mean by that? His father taught him the fundamentals. He taught him the shoulder roll. But after that, Mayweather started doing his thing in the ring. And his father facilitated him, had him in there with big, strong guys, put him in certain situations for him to deal with. So, yeah, okay, fundamentally, Mayweather uses the Michigan shell defense or the shoulder roll or the half guard or the Philly shell defense, whatever you want to call it, right? Fundamentally. But in addition to that, like I said over and over again, Mayweather has other defensive tools at his disposal and other offensive tools at his disposal. You will never see Floyd Mayweather's father throw a leaping left hook the way how Mayweather does it. He does a lot of things his own way. You'll never see the extended guard by Mayweather's father. All he got is the shell defense. And sometimes he used the high guard. Okay? Mayweather's got the extended guard, the wide stance guard, the shoulder face guard, the roving guard, the extended guard. Then, on top of that, let's not forget, he could also dip like Pernell Whitaker, which his father did not do. He respects distance with his footwork. And again, most important in defense, and this is what separates Mayweather from other guys, is he conditions you, because he has a system of feints, he conditions you to expect certain things. He sets you up. And then the other thing his father did not do that he does, which shows his IQ is just way above his father, is Mayweather, besides trap setting, Mayweather puts you in a position where you're using your best tool against him. And he's sizing up your tool because he's looking for a way to counter that tool. That's the difference between Mayweather and a whole bunch of other guys. Because to take away a guy's tool, you first of all need to let him use it in the ring so you can see what it is. And he has different little baits and different little tricks he uses to elicit that person's best attribute so he can see what it is firsthand. So he draws you to use your tool. He wants you to use your tool. Sometimes he didn't even request that you use the tool and you pull it out and he's stunned by it because he didn't expect it. And then he said, oh, okay. And then he starts to adapt and adjust to you. I see it in Terence Crawford as well. Okay. Now, the difference between how Mayweather fought Pacquiao and how you usually fight other guys is he didn't even give Pacquiao a chance to show his tools. He muzzled that shit from round one. When Pacquiao tried to double jab coming in, Mayweather just, he tricked him. He circled a certain way, had his body aligned a certain way. And as soon as Pacquiao came in to try and get on the inside with his quickness, Mayweather sprung the trap, pivoted into the shot, and hit him a lead right hand. And he was gone. Mayweather hit him the lead right hand, and he was gone. He was in and out. Boom, boom, into the pocket and out. Pacquiao never saw it. He was shocked, and that just disciplined Pacquiao from round one. Mayweather controlled him. He didn't play around with Pacquiao because he didn't want to see what Pacquiao's tools were. They were just a little too much for him. So he controlled Pacquiao from round one. He didn't want to. He muzzled it. He took away everything from Pacquiao. He took away all his range. He took away his weapons from round one. Okay, fine. But usually Mayweather will look to see, okay, what you got. It's like an interview almost. Okay, so he would look to see what Sugar Ray Leonard got. Okay, you got range, you got reach, you got a really good jab. All right, cool. Let's see. Okay, cool. And then what's he going to do next? He's going to counter it. That's what he called counterpunching. He's going to counter Ray Leonard's jab. Now, if Ray Leonard's jab is really becoming a problem, that's where Mayweather starts pulling other tools out the tool bag to make sure that he takes care of their jab. And what people don't realize is Mayweather is a guy that can fight at any range, and he's got a plethora of tools of which he can start swiveling, bobbing and weaving, slipping and sliding. He can do different things. All right. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. He's much more skilled than Sugar Ray Leonard, period. Offensively and defensively. Just because he doesn't have a rapid offense, he doesn't throw a whole bunch of combos, doesn't mean that he doesn't have more variety, more ability to do different things than Sugar Ray Leonard does. He's very, very skilled. And that's what allows him because he can go into his tool bag and do all kinds of different things. That's what allows him to make adjustments. That's what allows him to be able to do different things in that ring to take away what you got and then use it against you. With Oscar De La Hoya, hell of a jabber. Mayweather went under the jab. He went over the jab. He pivoted around the jab to take away the jab because he was countering Oscar De La Hoya. He was countering him over, under, and around his jab. That's why Oscar put away his jab. And as soon as Oscar put away his jab, and this is what I mean by use your strength against you, Mayweather started his jab. So he made sure that Oscar would never jab again. After Oscar put away the jab, that was it. And Oscar said, oh, man, and he was rubbing his rib cage. He said, man, it wasn't the night of the jab. That's what happened. No, motherfucker, you got outplayed. You got outplayed. So if you got a great strength, Mayweather doesn't just take it from you. He replaces it with the exact same strength that you was using. He going to use it against you just to get into your head and just to let you know you ain't shit. And this is why that's why Mayweather says, when you step in the ring with him, you got to prove to him you are all that you say you are. Because it's an interview. Because, motherfucker, I've been doing this since I was 3. Show me something. That's what Mayweather coming. So I'm telling you right now, Sugar Ray Leonard would not beat Floyd Mayweather. I could say this categorically. He would never. His brother-in-law believes the same thing that I do. Okay, and his brother-in-law was the manager of him. He said, there's no way, no how. And that's when it was Pretty Boy Floyd. No way, no how you beating Floyd Mayweather. He's better than you in every single area. He's mentally stronger than you. He's better than you in terms of skills. And he's more dedicated than you are. Okay? Fucking Mayweather's on steroids when it comes to commitment. And he's a fucking gym rat. I'm not saying... Leonard's a gym rat too, don't get me wrong. He always training, always staying in shape, looks really great. But motherfucking Mayweather took it to steroid levels. Like fucking, the motherfucker would wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the day, and go sparring, then go running. All right? And he used to spar hard. Like they didn't even have cameras in there because he'd be sparring, busting people up. Sometimes he get his ass busted up, not in terms of bleeding or anything, but busted up in terms of the guys just pouring on punches on him and he's blocking all of them and saying, nope, nope, nope. That's all you got, motherfucker. That's Mayweather. Like, people don't know. His sparring sessions are like fucking wars at times. It was like fucking wars. The shit is taped. Okay? There's a reason why they consider him so great, because they know it's not his fucking performance. When he go in the ring as his older self, he was a mean mugger when he was younger. As an older self, he started outplaying guys because he had to preserve his hands. His career would never have been that long if he had just been running combinations and trying to run through people and knock them out. He'd have mashed up his hands. And if just enough common sense, think about this. This guy doesn't throw more than 40 punches around, right? If so much. Why is it every shot counts? He's got to have power, right? He just don't put it together. He do 2, 3 together, and that's about it, right? We didn't see him throwing a lot of combinations when he was Money Mayweather because of his hands. This motherfucker had the audacity to say, my hand's hurting me. I can't knock him out. He had so much fucking option. Think about what I'm saying. Sugar Ray Leonard had to stop a guy, and he was stopping all the welterweights, right? But he had to stop a guy to win. He had to stop Thomas Hearns to win. He had to stop Donnie Lalonde to win that fight because Donnie Lalonde was whooping that ass. It was whooping that ass. Okay? But Donnie Lalonde ran out of steam because he had to use a catch weight, so he was weight drained. That's why Leonard knocked him out eventually. Now, Leonard made for exciting fights because they were competitive fights. He had competitive fights with guys. And yeah, he used to get guys out of there. And he would tell Floyd Mayweather, I would knock you out. And Floyd Mayweather would be watching him like, boy, I wish I had that fight. I'd make so much money off of that shit. Right? Because, yeah, okay, Leonard was a killer. Yeah, he was a good fighter. Man, he's not on fucking Mayweather's level. Come on. What the fuck? This is an 80s fighter we're talking about. 80s fighter. An 80s fighter. Fighting a guy from the 2000s. It's just a lot happened between that time. A lot happened between that time. Fucking Leonard ain't beating Pernell Whitaker, far less Floyd Mayweather. He's not beating Pernell. He's not doing shit to Pernell. He wouldn't figure Pernell out. It would go 15 rounds and Pernell would be doing the same shit and Leonard still wouldn't be able to figure his ass out. He not beating Pernell. Shit, Oscar De La Hoya give him a good run for his money. He might beat Oscar. They about the same kind of fighter. I think Leonard's a better fighter than Oscar. But shit, we don't even know he can beat Oscar De La Hoya. And this is the kind of stupidness we got to deal with because fans don't understand boxing. Leonard don't do tight pivots. He don't do tight pivots. Yeah, he pivot around you on the inside a little bit and he dipped. Like this is boxing, man. Oh, he beat Benitez. Benitez was a great defensive fighter. With his head down the center line, he a great defensive fighter. Okay, he fought some good competition. He made a name for himself resume-wise. Skill-wise, he's not even a Whitaker. Fuck it, man. Mike McCallum was part of his time. Mike McCallum was a better defensive fighter than he was. Shit, I don't even think Leonard gets past Mike McCallum now that I think about it. Because Mike McCallum was solid. Hagler wouldn't fuck with Mike McCallum. Like I'm talking about solid fighters here. This is not about who I like or how their style's so exciting and all that shit. I don't give a fuck about that. Mike McCallum went against James Toney. James Toney at 35. You can see Sugar Ray Leonard going up against James Toney at 35. You can see Hagler going up against James Toney at 35. James Toney would wipe the shit, man. He wiped the dust off them motherfuckers. James Toney would destroy them. Toney hit hella hard. Okay? James Toney would destroy Thomas Hearns. Destroy his ass. Okay? This is not a matter of debate. Mike McCallum went up against James Toney, got a draw. James Toney came on hard, though, in the final rounds. Almost knocked out Mike McCallum. But the point is, he got a draw. A close fight. Lost the other two. Still never got stopped by James Toney. James Toney stops everybody. All right? People just don't have respect because they're fantasizing in the past. All right? Could Terence Crawford beat Floyd Mayweather? I think in 2-3 years' time, we're having that discussion. Absolutely. He got the tools to beat him. I don't know if he had the smarts to beat him, but he got the tools to beat him. I said it over and over. I'll say it again. I'm not attached to Floyd Mayweather so much that I can't see and recognize the skills and abilities and the specialness of fighters. I understand that boxing as a sport evolves and the fighters only get better. They may not be as entertaining, but they get better. That's a fact. So when I hear this stupid ass discussion, oh, Leonard would keep him away with the jab, I'm like, fuck out of here with that shit. Ain't no jab keeping Canelo off you. Ain't no jab keeping Mayweather off you. If Mayweather want to get close to you, your jab ain't doing shit. Yes, the jab is more effective weapon against a fighter like a Mayweather or a Canelo. But motherfucker, they patient as fuck. They not Roberto Duran who trying to spring those little checkers attacks with a bait and counter and come in and get blasted. No. They patient. They compose. They keep the composure. They're going to wear your ass down. And they're going to mix it up. They'll let you chase them down sometimes. They're going to walk you down sometimes. And that timing is different. Like, people don't understand. Like, back in the day stuff, like, people always praise up Sugar Ray Robinson. And I'm like, Sugar Ray Robinson was a hell of a fighter. Don't get me wrong. Fuck out of here. Sugar Ray Leonard beat Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Leonard beat Sugar Ray Robinson. His defense too open. He get hit too much. He got dropped by the guy he was beating up. what's his name? Rocky Graciano. The guy he knocked out eventually. He dropped him in the fight. Rocky Castellini gave him everything he could handle. Go look up Rocky Castellini versus Sugar Ray Robinson. He couldn't even get out of there Kid Gavilan. It was slick. He was a Cuban fighter, but Kid Gavilan was a hell of a fighter. No doubt about it. But don't get it twisted. He ain't no Charlie Burley. He ain't no Kid Chocolate. Why do you think Sugar Ray Robinson didn't want to face Charlie Burley? And Charlie Burley looked a lot like Floyd Mayweather. Why? Because we're talking about now complex boxing. We're talking about layered boxing. I'm not saying Sugar Ray Robinson didn't have complex boxing, but defensively, he was nothing compared to Charlie Burley. Nothing. How Charlie Burley controlled an opponent, controlling your opponent. Most of the guys that Sugar Ray Robinson faced did not control their opponents to start with, except for Georgie Abrams, who he never faced again because everybody was focused on tenacity and knocking the guy out. But you have to be able to control your opponent. That's why Sugar Ray Robinson had a good time with a lot of those blokes because they didn't know about that. So anyway, Sugar Ray Leonard would beat Sugar Ray Robinson. Shorter, more crisper shots. Sugar Ray Robinson looped too much of his fucking shots going for power and speed. He reminded me of Sugar Shane Mosley to some degree. Mayweather obviously would beat him. He'd control the shit out of his ass. Make him look ordinary. If, what's the kid's name? What's the kid's name from England? If he beat Sugar Ray Robinson, whatever the kid's name is from England. All right? I forgot what his name is. If I remember, I'll tell you. If he beat Sugar Ray Robinson, fuck out of here, man. Charlie Burley would take that championship from him. Give me that championship, the middleweight championship. Take it. Give me that fucking championship. Right? Mayweather would clown his ass. Not at middleweight, because Mayweather wouldn't fight him at middleweight, but welterweight. He'd clown his ass at welterweight. Oh, Sugar Ray Robinson was so much faster, but his style was the same. His style was the same. Y'all make it sound like Sugar Ray Robinson was all that. He was fundamentally sound fighter. Fundamentally sound. But he played by the rules. He how do I put this? He had special effects, but not elaborate special effects like a Sugar Ray Leonard or a Pernell Whitaker or Floyd Mayweather or Roy Jones Jr., etc. These guys built on what he started. Let's put it that way. He was strong like a mule. He was quick. He was fast. Throw certain combinations, but that's about it. A one-trick pony. It's basic. And a lot of y'all gonna get tripped when I say that, but he's fucking basic. Fundamentally sound, but he was basic. Same thing for Kid Gavilan. Kid Chocolate was a totally different animal. Charlie Burley was a totally different animal. Y'all can trip if you want, but that's the real truth. That's the truth. Now, a lot of people like to talk about his accomplishments and blah, 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 blah. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm talking about what he do in the ring. I'm talking about what would happen if he matched up with those other guys. The eye test. Okay? Well-accomplished fighter for his time. For his time. All right, some of those fighters that he faced will get dusted today by some mediocre guys. It is what it is. Boxing evolves. So enough with this bullshit talk about Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Leonard was a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather. Fuck out of here with that shit. He was more exciting. He's more exciting. So I give you that. But that's some casual ass fan shit. And I see hardcore fans and OGs getting all nostalgic and stuff. Fuck out of here. Oh, Sugar Ray Leonard could fight. So what I mean? It's boxing. He could fight. A lot of guys can fight in boxing. Canelo could fight his ass off. Fighting and boxing is two different things, motherfucker. Sugar Ray Leonard could fight his ass off. Sure. Nobody say no. Aaron Pryor could fight his ass off. Pacquiao could fight his ass off. Pacquiao could fucking fight. Everybody knows that. That doesn't mean he's gonna win against Mayweather. That's the thing that people just don't get. So let's leave that aside. More news to talk about. right? Let's talk about some other stuff. Next thing I want to talk about right now in boxing, the Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight. So that's on. That's on. All the excuses and everything, that fight is on. Wilder made sure in a court of law that shit is going down. So Fury is going to be facing Deontay Wilder. And Fury posted up some stupid video with him knocking down something that's stuck on a ceiling. So you're gonna have a punching bag on a ceiling that easily could break down. Right? You can see the big square block that comes off. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, Fury. That's only a promotional stunt. Nobody give a fuck about that. But Fury's going to have to face Deontay Wilder in the third fight in the trilogy. Looking forward to it. The talk is over. Wilder's getting his third fight. Now he better be smart and know what he's doing. Best of luck to both guys. I'm not going to predict nothing. I'm just going to watch. Okay? Errol Spence and Danny Garcia fight. Looking forward to that. Y'all know I got Spence for the win. Danny Garcia is a beast, but Errol Spence is a smart beast, and I think Errol Spence will easily take that fight. Danny Garcia is going to have another loss, and I'm sorry about that, Danny Garcia, but it is what it is. You can be strong as fuck. It don't mean shit. It's about boxing. It's not about being strong as fuck, and I know you're a good fighter and you're a good boxer and all of that, but you just don't have the tools to deal with Errol Spence. It's what it is. You're going to have to accept that reality. Good luck, though. With respect to Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson, this is what I got to say. Mike Tyson's looking great, in shape. He looks strong as fuck, and he looks fantastic for a 54-year-old. But that shit don't mean shit. Let me say it again. That shit don't mean shit. This sport is called boxing. It's not about a strongman contest. It's not about how physically fast and quick you are and all of that bullshit. It don't mean shit. So Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. is going to come down to skill and smarts. And we'll see how smart Mike Tyson is. I know the limits to his style. Excuse me. I know the limits to his style. I know Roy is motivated. Come on. I know Roy is motivated as well. But we will have to see how this fight actually pans out ultimately in the end. So the question will be, see, that's what reflux does. It's irritating my throat and everything, it rattled it. And that's just because this freaking ear is choking me. Reflux. And it's gas. Isn't that disgusting? Anyway, as I was saying, before I continue on with the rest of the day. Man, I still can't breathe. Fucking reflux. I hate it. But it's my doing, so I'm to blame. What was I saying? Yeah, Roy. I'm with the smaller guy. I'm backing Roy. I'm not saying he's gonna win, but I think he has a good chance of winning against Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's gonna kick himself up. He's gonna try and go in there and pile drive Roy and rough him up. He better do that. He better be rough and rugged. He better be dirty as well to try and beat Roy. Now Mike Tyson's acted a lot, so he's been in movies and shit. So Mike Tyson actually, people say he need to go full throttle, and that's the only throttle he knows. No, he can also perform quite well. Dramatize shit, and he knows camera angles and shit. He really looks great in front of the camera. I expect him and Roy to put on a hell of a performance. I stress on the word performance. They come out okay, and hopefully, I can only say hopefully, Mike Tyson's League of Legends, Legends League. I hope it continues onward, because I think it's a great avenue, for what they do. Teofimo Lopez talked about and responded on social media. Shakur Stevens also responded on social media concerning Terence Crawford. Hold on a second. Teofimo Lopez, like I said. So Teofimo Lopez, man, he has been. What the hell's going on? Shit, that's an ambulance. What the fuck? I just noticed there's an ambulance there. Yeah. Shit, I gotta find out what's going on there. Teofimo Lopez, anyway. I find out what's going on. Teofimo Lopez, anyway. Like I was saying, he got to social media, was talking about different things, and I found it good because we know he had a surgery on his toe or something like that in his leg, and but he been training, exercising, seeing him on Helisac back in different gyms and stuff. He's a dude. I'm gonna stress again. Teofimo Lopez needs to face Devin Haney if he wants to be undisputed. And I know that's not what he's thinking of. He's thinking of defending one of his titles and all kind of bullshit stuff because, you know, Bob Arum, once again, is blocking. He's blocking meaningful fights from happening. All right? That's Bob Arum's MO. He fucks up his own money. You know what I mean? Instead of freeing up the fighters to face who they should, he's trying to keep all his money in-house, and it's literally destroying his company. Right? That's up to him. You know what I mean? But he don't have a whole bunch of top-ranked fighters at lightweight. Yeah, Lomachenko, and that's it. Of course, he would love Lomachenko to rematch Teofimo Lopez to keep money in-house. But Bob Arum has been a plague on fucking boxing for the longest while. And I've said it over and over again, and people are now beginning to realize, when I was saying fuck Bob Arum all back in the day, y'all now beginning to realize this is the guy that causes all the shit. All right? Bob Arum was keeping Manny Pacquiao from facing Floyd Mayweather, along with Manny Pacquiao, but nonetheless. All right? And then he shits on, he's so destructive, he shits on other fighters. And now he's shitting on his own fighter, Terence Crawford, and talking about facts. Well, if he's a liability, like Terence Crawford said, then release him from his fucking contract. Know what I mean? But don't be talking that shit out in public. If it's so much the truth, like you say, then if he's a liability to you, then release him. Let him go wherever he wants to go. Do whatever he wants to do. Or shut the fuck up. So, and we all know Bob Arum has been a racist for a while. Talk about he had black fighters, but he said that in a word. He just be talking like this. But we all know you don't know how to promote black fighters, and you full of shit. Okay, and you anti-black fighter. I don't even know why Shakur Stevenson over there. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So Shakur Stevenson, he stood up for his friend Terence Crawford by saying Terence Crawford's a good guy. I learned so much from the bloke, and I just don't like it, man. You know, Terence Crawford, man, this man could have, because as you already know, it's about who you face and who you beat. Yeah, it's also about when you face them, yeah, but who you fucking face and who you fucking beat. And the names, I'm sorry, the only guy that stands out there that we could really say something about Terence Crawford's resume is fucking Kell Brook. He a periphery guy right now. That's it for his whole fucking resume, Gamboa and Kell Brook. Those are the well-known names. We can't even say Jeff Horn, because Jeff Horn, what did he do? Jeff Horn ain't done shit. All he got is Pacquiao. That's his one thing. At least Kell Brook had Triple G, and he had Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter. Know what I mean? He had Amir Khan too. That's another name. That's about it. And that's sad. That's sad. Right now, you could have been facing all those guys. Instead, you're eating crumbs. And all you had to do when you had the opportunity was explore another lane. Now I hear Terence Crawford saying he don't have to face Errol Spence for his legacy. Motherfucker, you don't face Errol Spence or one of them guys on that side for your legacy. Your legacy fucked up. What you gonna do? Go up to 154, face Charlo? I mean, all the names within the vicinity of his name, all those guys, you gonna look what you're gonna do. You're gonna try and scrub. You're gonna try and scrub dust from the lower division. You're gonna make a guy come up and face you. And I remember Bob Arum has a history of doing this shit. He did it also to Marvin Hagler. You know, Marvin Hagler, that was his fault too. He never went up to 175. When you can't get competition at a certain weight class, what do? You go up. You go up in weight. You go up in weight. Gennady Golovkin said he wanted to get all the belts. All right, cool. But if you can't get competition, you go up to super middleweight. Get your competition. And these guys talk, but they don't do. With Crawford, he was thinking of going up to 154. And fighting Patrick Teixeira. He would have been in line to unify with Jermell Charlo. You know what I mean? And, you know, Crawford talked about, you know, he would watch Jermell Charlo and stuff. And Jermell Charlo's like, hey, young lion, young dud, keep my name out your mouth. If you're not going to step up to the plate with me, shut the fuck up. Right? I heard Sean Porter actually saying how he believes any one of the current welterweights, if they jump up to 154, they beat Jermell Charlo. I just laugh because I know it's just talk. It's his opinion, right? It's his opinion, right? Because, you know, there's this thing going around that Jermell Charlo, he can't box or whatever. And everybody got advice for Jermell Charlo. Motherfucker's an elite fighter, man. He's an elite fighter. And if any one of those welterweights right now step up and decide to go up to 154, remember he spars Errol Spence. Whether it's Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, or Terence Crawford, the top guys, or Dennis Ugas, they step up, Jermell Charlo might just knock them the fuck out. Okay? Because you didn't campaign at that weight. It's totally different. You're talking about a guy that walks around, you know, 175, something like that, just to make weight. But the guy, Jermell Charlo, he should be a middleweight right now. He should be at middleweight with his brother. So unless you can just jump all the way up to middleweight and fight Jermell Charlo, you're out of your fucking mind. It's just a totally different, like he's a totally different weight class. He's really 2 weight classes bigger than you. Jared Hurd is a huge, huge super middleweight. These are not small super middleweights. I doubt any of them would survive Jared Hurd. And that's just Jared Hurd. We haven't talked about Erislandy Lara. We haven't talked about J-Rock. These are guys that are bigger than you. They're bigger than you. They're taller than you. They're stronger than you. And to talk this stupid talk, you've never been at 154, but you would step up there and you would beat them. See, that's the thing I don't understand. You've never been to the division. How can you say that you could beat these guys? These guys hit harder, they're stronger, they're bigger, they're taller, they're strong. Everything about them is just better than you. You tell me about skills. I know skills pay the bills, but no, I don't believe that. I had to see it. But, you know, talk is cheap. It is what it is. You know, they're all talking down Jermell Charlo because he's unified champion now. Oh, it's easy to unify in that division. No, it's not easy to unify in that division. Right? So I'm just saying, I'm not saying that it's as a talented a division or as little a division as welterweight. I'm not gonna say that. But for him to go as far as to say these guys just jump up and weight, face Jermell Charlo immediately and beat him. No. You got to get test up stuff. You got to get yourself ready and stuff. You're not just jumping up there and beating Jermell Charlo. It's just not happening in any kind of way. Disrespectful when you say that, Sean Porter. So, you know, we're looking at the landscape, and then we're hearing about Canelo. Now, Canelo's facing Callum Smith. Good fight, no doubt about it. Callum Smith has shown us his vulnerabilities to somebody who can fight on the inside. right? Uh, Claire, it's reflux and it's nasty. It feels almost like if I drank soda, it's foaming. Still, even though I drank water, it's nasty. That's what's making me cough. So I'm trying to get rid of it. So when I do those certain things, don't think I'm crazy or anything. I'm a little bit angry, but it's just I'm trying to get the air out, the gas out, and I'm blowing the air out. I'm not getting the gas out, but I'm blowing the air to clear the passage from my throat. And already the gas is back on my throat. I can feel it. All right, so back to what we were saying. So Canelo's facing Callum Smith. Now, I believe once upon a time he was ranked the #1 super middleweight in the division. I think it's after he beat they had the round robin and he beat the kid that fought Carl Groves, right? Carl Froch, sorry. So he was ranked #1, but I don't think he's #1 right now. Callum Smith. But Callum Smith in his fight before he's looking at facing Canelo, had a lot of problems with inside fighters. So he's probably worked on that game. Hopefully it was enough time for him to work on it. Now we know since the zone that Eddie Hearn's Matchroom had 2 opponents Canelo could face, which was either going to be Callum Smith or Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders fucked up his opportunity by saying some stupid things. And then, of course, COVID came, and that just helped the situation. And Canelo didn't really want to fuck with him. So we haven't been hearing anything about Billy Joe Saunders for the longest while. Even in the last DAZN program that I saw with Terence Crawford being interviewed by the 2 guys, Ed Barak and the other guy. They didn't even mention Billy Joe Saunders' name. I think Billy Joe Saunders was supposed to face a fighter that's pretty known too. I can't remember who it is, but he'll be facing somebody. But Billy Joe Saunders is now mentioned. And the reason Billy Joe Saunders is now mentioned is because he said some really stupid things inciting domestic violence, which I personally think lost him the fight, and he should never get a Canelo fight ever in his career. Besides that, he's just despicable as a person in terms of, yes, he makes a lot of jokes and stuff, but he has some really despicable ideas. You know, women need to cook food, and you need to be slapping them down, and just a lot of shit that I just don't like. I particularly don't like the chauvinism and shit, and the racism as well. So I don't really mess with Billy Joe Saunders. Callum Smith being the other option. The problem with it is Billy Joe Saunders is actually a better fighter than Callum Smith is. When Canelo was making that fight with Billy Joe Saunders, I was like, that's a damn good fight. Because at the time, I thought Billy Joe Saunders was the best fighter of that division. You know, a lot of people talk about Benitez, you know, David Benitez, Callum Smith. I thought Callum Smith didn't have the experience. I think he's a better fighter, better boxer than David Benavidez. Sorry, not Benitez, Benavidez. I think David Benavidez is like Callum Smith. I think he doesn't have no fucking inside game, and therefore Canelo will just tear him apart. And unlike everybody saying he's a big super middleweight, he's fast, and I'm like, fuck that. Okay, fuck that. Canelo, I don't care if he has a good jab. Canelo would get to the inside, dismantle him, and his big old ass. We seen it with Ronald Gavril. His big old ass gonna get knocked down. He might even get knocked out, but he can get knocked down, and Canelo would beat him comprehensively. Okay, all this hype about David Benavidez, I never got it. I never seen anything special about him. He throw a lot of combinations. He's got fast hands, but that shit don't mean shit. It don't mean shit, right? He got to throw his combinations at a certain range. He had to work on his game, and he has to work on his discipline. So David Benavidez is not going to beat Canelo ever. Okay, it's just what it is, right? Callum Smith, he a more disciplined fighter. He has some work to do. Work on his game, because Canelo definitely will bring it to him. John Ryder gave him all the fits in the world, and I argue John Ryder beat his ass and was beating him up in the final rounds too. Kyle Smith does have a heart though, and he doesn't quit. He reminds me of Josh Taylor. But honestly speaking, I don't see Kyle Smith beating Canelo. The guy that would have given Canelo problems would be Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant, obviously, Canelo's side said, it's too close to have a pay-per-view for that. So it is what it is. But honestly, that's the guy I think gives Canelo problems. Him, Billy Joe Saunders, Demetrius Andrade, and Jamal Charlo. They definitely give him problems. Jamal Charlo has the height and size and strength to be able to deal with Canelo, but he's fighting that he's fighting at middleweight. You know what I mean? He's fighting at middleweight. Sorry about that, guys. So him and Demetrius Andrade. So Canelo again going to have a size advantage on them somewhat, or strength advantage, should I say? But if you ask me, Callum Smith's a good fight. He's not a bad fight, okay? He's a good fight. The only thing is, and he's long and he's rangy and all of that. So that's some good stuff right there. What's going on there? I don't know. I seen an ambulance there for a good minute. I gotta go, guys. But Kyle Smith's a good fight for Canelo. It's a good name. He is the WBA champion, the real champion. Canelo I think he has the belt still, the regular champion, the secondary championship belt. It's a very good fight because he is the WBA regular, so he should really be facing Callum Smith. It's a good win though. It's a good win. Callum Smith's not somebody you can sleep on. Canelo's been training all through the. Callum Smith should be getting ready for him. Hopefully, Callum Smith can bring a challenge of some kind to Canelo. Canelo is just so seasoned, so very well, just such a good fighter. I listened to Terence Crawford, and he was saying, he don't know who would win in the 168 division. I'm going to say this right now. I do know those other fighters didn't have the opportunities Canelo had to face the kind of level of opposition Canelo had. And, Terence Crawford mentioned Floyd Mayweather. He also faced Triple G. He also faced Miguel Cotto. And those guys were the best in their respective divisions, as well as he also faced Erislandy Lara. So that kind of experience at the highest level, it's going to be hard for those other fighters to be able to exploit that. The only guys I think who have the skill set to exploit it is like Demetrius Andrade, Billy Joe Saunders, and now Jamal Charlo. Because I saw what Jamal Charlo was doing with inside fighters. A lot of guys are coming to him inside. You can see he's preparing for that. So, them guys. Caleb Plant ain't ready yet. He still got some inexperience. He still has to deal with a couple other situations, but he has the tools to beat Canelo. But I don't think he's ready for Canelo. The other guys I just mentioned, they're not ready for Canelo. Callum Smith's not ready for Canelo, but he could borrow a page or two out of you got to excuse me. Something just irritating my throat lining right now. It's liquid, but anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, Demetrius Andrade. No. Callum Smith, I don't think he's ready for Canelo. He'll think he's ready for Canelo, but he's not ready for Canelo. And see, Canelo's got a lot of veteran moves. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. So Callum Smith's not ready for that. Okay. This is not Lomachenko, who does one specific thing and is limited to one specific thing. Canelo can do way more than Lomachenko. Just way more. In fact, in terms of home skills, Canelo, I believe, has way more home skills than Terence Crawford has. Terence Crawford is fucking fantastic, very elastic. He does some things really different that I've never seen before. But Canelo is a guy that rehearses shit. You could tell. Terence Crawford flows better. But Canelo, oh fuck, man. When it comes to home skills, that motherfucker got it. Like, he's crisp and extremely sharp with this shit. So Canelo's a special fighter in that respect. So I give him mad props, and he got a lot of high top tier experience. I'm not talking like fucking Lomachenko. I'm talking pound for pound #1 experience. Like he fought Gennady Golovkin was pound for pound #1, and Floyd Mayweather was pound for pound #1. Right, and he also fought a bunch of former pound for pound fighters. He fought Shane Mosley. He got a lot of experience from that fight. He fought Mika Cotto. He got a lot of experience from that fight. Right. He fought Sergey Kovalev. He got a lot of experience from that fight. So, like Canelo's, and he's younger than some of these guys. Canelo's a special fighter, right? It's just what it is, right? Can he get beat? Yeah, he's sure he can get beat, but he's special. And all those people talking him down, talking about drugs and all this bullshit, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Canelo is special. All you can come with is, oh, he got busted in a drug test. That was reversed. That drug, that thing that he was supposed to be vulnerable for drugs was reversed. So that shit, he's got a clean slate. So, anyway, with Canelo, he's a special fighter. And I know that my boy, Troy King, he's a big fan of Canelo. Because he broke down Canelo, he broke down his style. So he's a big fan of Canelo. I'm a fan of Canelo. But I will not make excuses for him ducking Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo. I did it. But I never quite understood why he would avoid them, because the longer you stay not facing a fighter, it's just the better they're gonna get. So it's just what it is. But Canelo's a special fight, But there are guys I see with tools that can beat Canelo and make for interesting fights. I just don't agree with Benavidez being one of them. Cerebrally speaking, he's nowhere in terms of smarts and ring IQ. He's nowhere on the level of a Canelo. Just not. Like he's gonna lose and bad. And don't tell me he's a big 168 pounder. I don't give a fuck about that. Canelo fought Sergey Kovalev, which is a 175 pounder. A 175 pounder. So don't tell me, well, Canelo would beat Benavidez too big and strong for him. What does that mean? What's that mean? He fought a guy at 175. What you talking about, too big and too strong? And that guy hits harder than Benavidez does. Benavidez don't get people out with one punch. He don't got the bone density of a Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev hit you with a punch. He didn't even intend to hurt you. He hurt you really, 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 really bad. So I don't believe that shit. In this case, size don't mean shit with Canelo. He's a pound for pound fighter. This man came all the way up from super lightweight. Let's do some things. He began his career at super lightweight, went up to welterweight. Super welterweight, became a champion, right? Multiple times. Then, my goodness. Then he went up to middleweight, became champion. Super middleweight became champion. Like heavyweight became champion. He went through 6 divisions, like Oscar. He didn't become champion in each division, but if he if he becomes champion at super middleweight, and he beats Cal Smith and becomes champion, that would be his 4th division. He became a world champion, bonafide world champion. I'm not talking about secondary. I don't give a damn about secondary. And he was unified in 2 divisions. At super welterweight, he was unified champion, WBC, WBA. And middleweight, he was unified champion, WBC, WBA, IBF. He just didn't have the WBO. You know what I mean? And so, no matter how you look at it, Canelo's a bad boy, period. Point blank, period. He's a bad boy. You know what I mean? And you can say what you want, and those are bigger divisions. There are bigger gaps between the divisions. Like 7 pounds and more. So you gotta give Canelo his props, man. You gotta give Canelo his props. They can say the only claim they got with Canelo is, he faced old fighters, and he got caught for steroids or some shit like that, clenbuterol or whatever. Both of which have turned out to be false. Right? So why you keep on harping on that? That means you're reaching for shit. Oh, he don't face the best. Now, okay, he did duck Jamal Charlo and he did duck Demetrius Andrew. I'll give you that. Other than that, he didn't duck nobody. He does nobody. First call out, Austin Trout. He wanted to smoke. After Floyd Mayweather, he wanted to smoke with Larry Stanley Lara, and Aaron Stanley Lara called him out repeatedly. He said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna face Aaron Stanley Lara." Then everybody was saying he was ducking Triple G, and then he went for the smoke and he fought Triple G twice. Beat him twice. Then after that, Danny Jacobs was calling him out. And he said, all right, let's get the smoke. And he fought Danny Jacobs next. And then the most recent guy he fought was Sergio Cobra. Went up 2 divisions, fought Sergio Cobra because he wanted that fight. So you can't, as much as I say he ducked Demetrius Andre and Jamal Charlo, because he fought Kovalev instead of his mandatory Charlo. I think he was promoted by the WBC ducking promotion to franchise champion. So he didn't have to face Jamal Charlo, right? And then he hasn't unified with Demetrius Andre. But you gotta go through Demetrius Andre and you gotta go to Jamal Charlo, and you can't put those fights off. I don't know why you want to put them off. And he's got lots of fights available to him. He got Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, who lost his belt, so it is what it is. Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders, Dimitri Bivol, and Artem Beterbiev. So there are guys all around him that he could face. And he should face. You know what I mean? He should face those guys. So, man, I'm really messing up my throat. All right. Anyway, peoples, that's all I got for now. I'm going to catch you guys later on What You Need. Deuces. There's something else I want to talk about in box match. I just can't remember what it was. If I remember it, I'll come back. Peace.